Welcome, welcome to another beautiful day of the Liberian Dream. My name is Leo Napolu Johnson, and I'm here this afternoon to share with you some thought-provoking things about where our country needs to go and how we need to think through our own future, how we need to think through our own story, how we need to think through the future of our own country. Welcome to the Liberian Dream. We're here again with another very interesting topic: the injustice of miseducation in Liberia. I know a lot of you may be wondering, a lot of you may be scratching your head, what am I talking about? But let's get straight to it. I'm going to start with the University of Liberia. I've had this conversation with a few people before. And just as a full disclaimer, I tell people all the time, some of us are young. So when we talk about Liberia, we talk about post-war Liberia most of the time. And the goal is to provide some of these thought-provoking analysis, so that we all may start to think about it. And those of you who may know more than we do, you can start to write some of this stuff down, start to put some of this information out so we can see it. So let's get right to business. Let's look at the University of Liberia, right? Historical. Started in 1862, the oldest degree granting school in West Africa in terms of post-secondary in West Africa. I mean, great history. Great people have come from LU. I mean, LU was one of the best universities on the African continent, you know, by far. We went through a civil war. We destroyed it. And now we had an opportunity to rebuild our country based on opportunities that all of our citizens alike can see themselves through. Not just based on opportunities that few people in our country can see themselves through, right? We've lived in a country where in our entire history, the only way we've ever experienced citizenship has been through class, ethnicity, tribalism, and division. Never. 1847, I mean, when we were getting independence, our people at the time drafted a constitution that pretty much represented the interests of a little over 300 families in the country, right? And we saw what that led us to over 100 years of suppression, over 100 years of almost near enslavement of a lot of native people in Liberia until 1979, 1980. And you know, when the coup happened again. In fact, in 1847, when that constitution was enacted, women could not vote. Voting was also restricted to only those who have what you call real property. So again, we set up citizenship based on exclusion, not on inclusion. 1980, the coup happened. The military came, took over, and accordingly, they were supposed to undo these things. Instead, again, we wrote another constitution that was based on exclusion and not inclusion. We wrote a constitution that decided to cut off certain Liberians who we believe were out of the country in the diaspora in fear that they might challenge the powers of the day, right? We wrote a constitution that basically said a certain people or a certain number of people or group of people can never be prosecuted for crimes and atrocities that they committed, right? Let's fast forward today. The war happened. We destroyed the very fabrics of our country. Right, and we set up an education system that only tends to, I would argue, to less than 20% of our population. Right, we define education to mean this Eurocentric approach to what education is, that you have to go sit in some type of classroom and score some type of letter grade to be accepted as an educated person. But let me break the news to you. That is a part of education, but that is not education in its totality. Right, knowledge itself is not power. It has potential. The application of knowledge to impact your surrounding is where the real power is. But let's drill into the context to the University of Liberia. I've argued that LU should be recategorized as a technical college, should be repositioned from a university to a technical college, because LU does not have the ability to deliver quality post-secondary education. This is not demeaning. This is not in any form of disrespect. This is in absolute reality of what we face today, right? Think about it. Do you think in your right mind at this current day and age, is the University of Liberia capable of delivering quality education? My answer is no, it's not. I will give you an example. The University of Liberia does not have the infrastructure when it comes to the type of infrastructure that's needed to facilitate quality learning and education. LU does not have it, especially at a university level. No, they don't. Now, I'm not degrading the faculties there. I know there may be some great instructors and professors at the University of Liberia. Kudos to them. But what good is a Tesla when there is no driver? What good is a car? What good is a Lamborghini? What good is a Corvette? What good is a BMW? What good is an Audi parked in your yard when nobody knows how to drive it? So what good is it when you have professors that are, good, great professors, but you do not have the facility, the infrastructure, nor the resources to empower them to do the work that they're supposed to do? Look, let's start deceiving ourselves. If you buy a Toyota, and you take the sticker of a BMW and put it on a Toyota, it's still a Toyota. Putting the sticker of a BMW on a Toyota does not make it a BMW. It will still drive like a Toyota. When you open the engine, it will still be a Toyota engine, right? So this is what we did. We took a great institution pre-war. Now, even pre-war, it had its own challenges. Destroyed it during the war, came back and decided that we can just continue from where we stopped. So we've done the greatest injustice to this generation. We continue to do it, making them to believe that they are receiving the best of education, except that when some of them graduate, they have to go back to red market and sell in wheelbarrows. Except that when some of them graduate and who don't know anybody in government, they have to go to West Point and still go fishing on the Kino, or they have to go and sell table market. Right? No disrespect to our people, but our education system, specifically the University of Liberia, is training all kinds of people we got no use for. And it's not even training them up to the standards that they should be trained by. So what's good saying we have a University of Liberia? Let's take LU down to a technical college. We need plumbers. We need electricians, right? We need agriculturists, right? We need engineers. We need bricklayers. These are the real things that Liberia needs. I'll give you Germany as an example. When Germany came from the World War, and everything was destroyed. If you read the history, Germany was almost like what Liberia is today. An entire generation not having the opportunity to go to formal education. Lost. People discouraged. Economy in tatters. What did Germany do? Germany set up a system of technical college education for over 20 years that took their economy in less than 5 years from zero straight to the top of the world. Today, Germany is still one of the strongest global economies. We all boast of German engineering. People will buy products only because they are German engineered. You think where it came from? University? No, it came from technical colleges. We do not have the society. We do not have the institutions. We do not have the infrastructure to support university education at the levels that we are trying to deliver it. The institution cannot deliver it. And the country's economy itself is unable to support that type of education. That is the reason why when we send people abroad to go to university and study economics and the rest of it, they come back to Liberia and they can't find a job. We are unable to absorb them into our systems. Let me give you an example. You take 100 students and send them to China to the best technology that there is today. They come back to Liberia, you cannot even afford the equipment that they need to function. What do you expect? What do you expect? Let us start to cut our claws according to our measurement. We can no longer allow our leaders to continue to deceive us. And worst of all, we got our most educated people in our society pretending that they are delivering quality education at the University of Liberia when they're not. Do me a favor. Go to the University of Liberia's page. Go to academics and go to academic resources. It's blank. There is not one. Just look at my screen. That is what the current page of academic resources on the University of Liberia website looks like. And this has been there for a long time because I've been tracking it. Not one. So we're running a university that cannot even manage its website. Now, I'm not arguing that the LU may not have research that professors may have done. I mean, I'm not arguing that. I don't know that for a fact. But how do you expect me to know when we cannot manage a simple website where we're supposed to have students going to look for information, where we are supposed to have people out of the country? So by what standards are we measuring the type of education being offered at the University of Liberia? Now, do not get me wrong. Do not take the resilience of Liberians, the perseverance, the determination to succeed to mean that LU is delivering quality education. No, Liberians are a resilient people. We are adaptable. We are flexible. We will go through any situation. So when Liberians come from LU, come in the diaspora, go to schools here and do extremely well, please do not equate that to quality education being delivered at LU. In my opinion, LU should be reclassified as a technical college, and the programs offered should be programs that are directly connected to economic needs, development needs of the country. Let's call a spade a spade. We cannot keep training people we got no jobs for. We cannot keep training people who only expect to get jobs in government. We cannot keep training people who are not able to, out of their own productivity, make something out of Liberia. That is why I talk about the Liberian Dream, because the Liberian Dream is supposed to be one that every Liberian that goes to school or gets educated in Liberia has a space to become productive, regardless of whether or not they are employed in government or by anybody else. If there is a young boy growing on the farm in Joploke, or a young boy growing on the farm in Zogowi or in Vonjama, their goal should be to participate in Liberian Dream in a way that makes their farming a productive and important part of the Liberian dream, of the Liberian economy. They should not have to leave Liberia, come to Monrovia to try and go take business administration or try and go take psychology, something that makes absolutely no sense to them. But the only way they can participate in the Liberian Dream is by faking it to make it. We cannot keep our children chasing everybody else's dreams. We cannot keep our children trying to become psychologists when there is no way our society will not be able to support them to practice as psychologists. We cannot keep our children chasing everybody else's dreams except their own. The young girl who was born in Banga and got used to doing farming, got so good at doing farming. Let us not end up wanting to be a farmer, or wanting to be an agriculturist, or wanting to be an agronomist. Let's not force them to go and chase somebody else's dream only because we tell them by you becoming a farmer, you will be an agronomist or an agriculturist, you will be nobody in Liberia. Why do we keep deceiving ourselves? I can't stand the deception of it. I was 9 years old. The first time I heard people say we need to invest in LU to take the school, the academic standard to where it's supposed to be. I was 9 years old. Do you know how old I am now? And people are still wanting us to believe that they will put the money that's required in LU to improve it to where it's supposed to be. Your house cannot burn down. And then you come back and take lead tash and put it on the burnt foundation and keep telling people, say, I will just be here until I get money to rebuild it on the same spot. No, when your house burns down, you check your resources and figure out if you're not able to build a new house, you rent an apartment for the time being until you get the money. Here is another example. University of Liberia libraries. If you go to the website, you cannot access any other resource except physical building locations that they gave you to go look for. Right? This is 2021. You cannot insist that you are a university and then you say we should not compare you or hold you up to the same standards as we hold universities up to. It is not possible. If you say you're a university and you call yourself the nation's premier university, there's no system to revamp. The system was destroyed. I know some of our brothers and sisters like to talk about, let's improve the system. What system are you improving? The system that get LU web resource research page on the website blank? What system are you improving? The system that came back after the war and saw our education system completely depleted and fooled us and misled us that we can just continue managing small. One day we'll get money to put there. Please tell me, where would the money come from? The Liberian government budget is no more than $570 million. If you dump all of that into healthcare, it can't even scratch the surface of the needs in healthcare. So where are you going to get this money from? Where is the voodoo economics coming from to tell me that you invest in LU? We are so dishonest to ourselves that when our partners come and tell us, say, we want to send 100 Liberians overseas to go study in universities around the world, we don't tell our partners, say no. The amount of people we need to train and what we need to train is not in China. It will not be in the US. Can you help us build a state-of-the-art technical college right in Liberia? Provide us some faculties for the first 5 years to help develop the departments? And then we can figure out how to run it? Because with doing that, we can educate thousands of Liberians instead of you just sending 100. The cost of each international student is no less than 75,000 United States dollars by the time their studies is done. So multiply that by 100. We can keep making our children to fake it to make it. Some of our kids come up growing up, especially in the countryside, and their ambition and dream was to make food security a reality through farming, through agriculture, through agronomics. That was their dream. But what we told them, we kept telling them that you will be good for nothing. You will be foolish when you become an agriculturist. You will be foolish when you become a farmer. You will be foolish when you become an agronomist. So we tell them, say, you will have to go to LU or any one of the other schools around and study psychology or sociology. To do what with it? Only God in heaven knows. Our society cannot support it. University of Liberia does not have the ability to function at the level of a university. reclassify it to its appropriate level. If Liberians are serious that we want university, then we build it back up to the status of being a full university. When LU started, it started as a college. If you all remember, it started as Liberia College. And when they built it up to the standard that it could become a full university, it became accredited as a university. We destroyed it. So let's go back. We cannot build a 21st institution in the framework of an 1862 institution. It will not happen. It is not possible. It's putting square pegs in round holes. We need to rebuild the foundation. We need to create a foundation that can accommodate a 21st post-secondary institution. And we will quickly realize that the budget of the University of Liberia, which has been reduced from 17.2 million, mere 17.2 million to 60 million. The budget of the University of Liberia, right, which has 18,752 students enrolled, is $60 million the entire year. That money cannot even fuel the logistical operations of the executive branch of government or the legislature for 9 months. How serious are we? How can you lie, deceive our young people? How much more injustice can you do to us? Was the war not enough? Was turning thousands of us into child soldiers not enough? Was turning us into drug addicts not enough? Is mocking us and calling us Zogos not enough? You come back and you deceive us. You mislead us. You fool us only because your hope is that we should never be able to compete with your children that are in foreign countries going to good schools. How? And then you expect we should not talk about this stuff. This stuff is not about any government. It's not about any one government. It's about all of us. It's about our academics. It's about our educators. It's about our politicians. It's about our religious leaders. All of you have connived to deceive us that this is the best we can aspire to. And then you sit in the same mindset. You sit in the same country and have the audacity to tell us young people that we need to change our mindset. Is that not upside down? Am I the only one who's seeing this stuff? This is not the Liberian dream. The Liberian dream is the dream that the young boy in Swakoko, the young girl in Ganta, the young kid in Zogoi does not need to run away from their dreams and aspiration of becoming one of Liberia's best agriculturists to be able to survive in their own country. We need to create the opportunities that make sense for our people. People talk about you want to do mechanized farming. Are you crazy? You cannot even support our people to do subsistence farming to feed themselves. And you think you can jump over that step to do mechanized farming? You must be crazy. It is only when our people understand the value of food security, of being able to feed yourself, to eat healthily, to eat nutritiously, that they would understand that they have the capacity to provide that on a commercial scale, to be able to deliver and solve a problem. Doing mechanized farming in Liberia to do what? Innovation does not come in a vacuum. Innovations come out of the approach of problem solving. Our people cannot make farms to feed themselves. We are still bringing rice out of India, out of China, out of Malaysia. And you're telling us you can jump over that step to start just doing mechanized farming by bringing tractors in the country? They were useful for as long as it's good until it gets destroyed. We struggle to find good mechanics in the country. Electric, every time we cannot install any proper transformer like in last more than 6 months. Transformer blow up because people stealing current, even the people stealing current dying. Do you think if we had the trained engineers, why do we keep doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result? Isn't that insanity? The people stole current from a particular transformer, it blew up. You went and got a new one, came and put it back the same way you put the last one back. They stole it again, it blew up again. That is insanity, doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. You know when you put that transformer over there, the way you did it last time, the people stole from it. What stopped you from innovating and thinking? Is there another way we can do this to prevent this? You know what people will tell you? There's nothing we can do as long as people keep stealing current. No, it is your responsibility to continue to innovate until you can find a way to install transformers in a way that will prevent or be a safe proof against stealing electricity and current in Liberia. So let me give you my suggestion. My suggestion number one, please reclassify the University of Liberia to a technical college. and focus on the programs that matter. Focus on the agriculture and forestry college. Focus on that. And one of our biggest challenges in Liberia is food insecurity. Reclassify LU to a technical college. When you do that, that means you don't need to go look for PhDs to come and teach and be professors. There's something called industry professors. When you have a technical college, people who have spent years in a specific industry and have shown their ability and capability of mastery in a particular industry are equivalent to professors. They call them industry professors. We don't have too many PhDs in Liberia right now to be able to teach a university. But we have a lot of people with years of experience, of mastery, that can be equated to industry professors that can teach in the technical college. That's one solution. So your cost of operation drops, because instead of you running around the place now to look for PhDs and pay them crazy amount of money, you can have people right in Liberia with the mastery to teach at LU and pay them accordingly because they are industry professors and not PhDs. That's one solution. Reclassify it. Add colleges to a technical college based on the needs of your economy. Ensure that anybody graduating from LU tomorrow, even if there's nobody to hire them, they can sit down on your porch and start doing something and become self-employed because of the needs that they will be filling. So that is one. That is a particular recommendation from me. Number two, let's stop forcing children into a particular space. Let's help our people in our country. Let's understand what is it our people do and need, right? There are all kinds of things our people do in our country. How are you elevating those, to the levels that make it appreciated? Let's be honest. What is Louis Attoch Graham School of Law at the University of Liberia, right? Liberia has a dual legal system, customary law and the formal legal system. In fact, I would argue that customary law serves majority of Liberians compared to the formal legal system, because the formal legal system is too expensive. So majority of population cannot afford a justice for sale. They can't go to Supreme Court. They can't go to temporary justice. They can't sue any court. They can't hire a lawyer. So what they do Sasewood. When you think about it, we have less than 5,000 people in our national police for over 5 million people. We got less than 2,500 people in our national army for over 2.5 million people. How do you think we've managed to keep some sense of sanity in the rural areas where there's almost no security presence? It's because of customary law. When you do something in the time, nobody ever you to bring a contract that will outside for you. And when they say the contract that will come outside for you, you know the consequences. Now, criticize it all you want. That's not my business. Our failure to improve it, if you think it is not improved or it is not proper, our failure as a country to develop it, improve it, is our failure to where it is today. But guess what? It's kept the country peaceful without you even having enough security people to provide security for citizens. At the University of Liberia, law is taught, customary law. It's actually taught at LU. I'm waiting. I'm trying to get a curriculum from someone. But you know what the people did? They made it, how do they call it? An elective. They made it optional. How can you have a dual legal system where customary law and the formal legal system are both legal in the country and you made one optional? So which lawyers in Liberia know customary law? You please tell me, other than our people up in Tyria. And our people up in Tyria are not coming to Louis Attoch Graham School of Law. We will put some comments out. Let's go to some of the comments so I can respond to them before I wrap things up on the second half of this show. If you don't know, just in case you don't know, Sasewu is legal in Liberia. It's customary law. Then let me say that what your constitution says. I'm not the one making this up. The constitution says Liberia has dual legal system, customary law and the formal legal system, except that no lawyer in the country knows how to practice customary law. So we leave it up to our country people up in Tyria. And believe Sasewu or not are your business. Believe in what our country people do in customary law or not are your business. I don't care. But any institution that is as old as customary laws, that has the ability to survive colonialism, to survive the True Win Party, to survive military coups, to survive economic suppression, to survive almost 2 decades of civil war and still remain intact, serving majority of our people, I give it some respect. And it is upon me to try and deeply understand this system that is so resilient, and then how we can improve it to become more efficient for everybody. Find the deficiencies in it. This thing where Liberians will believe we can run away from ourselves, We keep chasing other people's dreams. This thing that we fall into the place that we hate ourselves so much that we're falling out of love with ourselves. Let me tell you something. Liberians, our story is our story. It is only upon us to change it. And I'll tell you today, you have to own your story in totality. We must own the 1847 part of it. We must own the true win party part of it. We must own the military coup. We must own the civil wars. We must own the productive and resilient part of it. We must put all together and say, here is what our story looks like. We are not satisfied with it. We want to change it. And this is what we need to do, but not run away from it. We want to be Ghanaians. We want to be Nigerians, Americans, all of that stuff. I'm sorry to break the news to you. Breaking news. You are not capable of becoming a Ghanaian. Try. Let me know how it goes. Because the Ghanaian story is different. And you will never be able to fully appreciate it because you are not a part of the Ghanaian story. You can only fully appreciate the Liberian story for better or for worse. My people, let's fall back in love with ourselves. Because when you're in love with yourself, you wake up every day to work hard to deal with your flaws and your shortcomings. And when you do not fall in love with yourself, you can never fully experience what love is. You can never fully experience and appreciate who you are. And you can't jump from ABC to 12th grade. It's not possible. So having nothing in place, and that thing we can jump from LU's teaching science and technology. What technology you're teaching in Liberia? Now, please, I'm begging you, you have me understand. Because the last time I went to computer school in Liberia, I was there, you know what we did? We used to be writing the notes for DOS and MS-DOS and the commands and stuff without physically having the computer before us. So what technology you are teaching in the country when you're not capable of running LEC? What technology are we teaching in the country when nobody able to tell us how we can start producing our staple food rice? What science and technology are we teaching in the country? Y'all please help me understand it. Because the productivity of our educational institutions is supposed to be on the streets of the country for us to see it. I will go through some of the comments here and let me see if I can respond to some of them. If I miss any of them, Mr. Jai, you can put them on there. Anthony Nimler said, let us have a reasonable and respectful conversation. This is what we're doing, Anthony. This conversation, in my opinion, is practical, is reasonable, and is respectful. So we will continue to actually do that, but we will sharpen it. Francis Biel says, smooth and great topic. Thank you, Francis. Christopher Gulote Tobazi say, intercounty commerce. Without modding roads, there is no strengthening of intercounty commerce in Liberia. I'm talking about buying, selling, or moving products, services, or money across county borders. Until we understand this, our people will continue to suffer deeply. Remember, we got to think big. But let me say this to you, my brother Christopher Gulote. What is modding? Everything this I want to modding roads, modding this, modding that. Don't do too modding. Do the basic that is consistent with our environment. It's not 1847. Let's start thinking about building roads that make sense. We need to build a scene road where the people laid a road back in the days in the 60s. We might need to carve new roads because of where we are right now. But I agree with you by and large. Josephus Agba say, great idea, but believe that we can revamp their system and add more departments. Josephus, please tell me two things. Where you will find the money to revamp it. I was 9 years old. The first time I heard this identical statement that you made. I am an old man now. So please tell me how, where the money will come from, and when you think that can happen. Until then, let's stop fooling the children that are going there by reclassifying it to a technical college. Christopher Ulote Tobazi say, fake it to make it sad. I agree, my brother, but that is the reality. Musu Senovia says, you are so right. You need to go back home and help implement those ideas. My sister, I'm already there. We're already rolling out some of the ideas that I'm talking about. Please check empowermentsquared.org or just Google my name and see some of the initiatives. We've already started, and that's why we are talking now, because talking is not enough. We all will have to get down and dirty. Leonardo Boy, you say, right, my brother. Thank you, Leonardo. Also says, Musu, for now, they need to listen to him. I know, but they don't even need to listen, my brother. We're already on the ground. We are already working. And that's the reason why we are saying, we are spreading this message so we all can start to actually do that as well. Anthony Nimner said, I'm patiently listening and waiting for a suggestion or opinion to the solutions of the problems. I hope, Anthony, you've already gotten some of the ones that I listed. I hope you are able to get some of them. For those of you who want to call, the number is on there too. We'll start taking calls right after the comments. So you want to call, please dial the number and I will take you on so you can participate. Anthony Nimler said, I'm hearing what the problems are from the perspective of Mr. Johnson. Absolutely. Finlayson said, let's go to Sassewood. I don't know what you mean there, but Sassewood is a legal part of our legal system. Finlayson said, this is awesome. Thank you, Finlayson. So we will take some calls. The numbers are on there. Please, if you want to call, you can call. Musu Senovia says, thanks. Thank you for engaging me. I love discussing and sharing ideas. I got one is going back home to impact my country. Thanks to you. Thanks, Musu, as well. Welcome. So Henry Yango says, thanks so much, brother, for your great work for Mama Liberia. Thank God, my sister. Every one of us got to do our part. So I do the little that I can. I do my part, and hopefully I can encourage more people to do their part. But let's start with reclassifying LU to a technical college. And if anybody wants to debate this and think this is not a good idea, please tell me how you think it is not. Hit the call button. The number is actually on the screen there so we can actually take you in. But this is all I have to say to you today. We need to start building the Liberian dream. And the Liberian dream has to be one that everybody can see themselves in. It can't just be based on this class system that we've experienced for such a long time. It can be based on those who live in Monrovia. It can be based on those who got money. It can be based on only those who can make it to LU. It can be based, look, you people may not remember, but you know why we got all these slums in Monrovia today, from the West Point to the Negro Town to the Logan Towns? It's because those days, the same idea, our people had to come from way up interior to come to Monrovia to go to school to LU to get higher education, because the system then told them the only way they would have had a chance at breaking the cycle of poverty was to become like the elites and get a degree. That's what they were told. So they came down. They went to LU, but guess what? When they graduated, they were still told because their last name were Yakpawolo. Because their last name were Nimle. Because their last name was Topa. Because their last names were Dolo. They told them they were still not good enough, even though some of them had outperformed everybody at the university. Some of them were magna cum laude, summa cum laude, you name it, 3-pointers. They were still denied. So they came to Monrovia to try and change the story of their parents and grandparents working in the mines in Lamco, in Nimba County, working in the mines. To bomb mine, they came to Monrovia that they would change that story, that their people would not only be the miners in the shaft and the digging and doing a back-breaking job. They were hoping that they can elevate their story to a place where they too could become technical professional people to earn more, to break the cycle of poverty. Guess what? They had to graduate from LU and then go back to West Point, places like West Point and Negro Town to live, only because they were rejected and denied, not because they were not qualified, only because of their ethnicity and their last names. Maybe you forgot. That's why the slums of West Point and Negro Town became what they are today. That's why you can hear some of the names of some of our greater doctors, from your Tipo Topan and Tipo Tess to the Bacchus Matthew. They can tell you more about the slums in Monrovia than they can tell you about the classes, because these people came to Monrovia for education, but were still forced into the slums because our economic system was not based on qualification. It was based on what your last name was and which fraternity you were a member of. So let's face the fact. These are not my words. Take it for what you want. Believe it or do not believe it. Believe it or do not believe it. When you have a university that's running on $60 million budget a year in a country that lacks almost every resource as Liberia, what do you expect? And I know some people take this in an offensive manner who have graduated from LU when LU was LU. That has nothing to do with your degrees and those of you who went to LU during the days that LU could deliver quality education. No. But remember now, we can't keep hailing your degree and destroy the rest of our future generation only because we say like LU just beat it. We are not serious. We have to take drastic measures that will force us into being serious. Reclassify the university as a technical college. Those who believe that LU should be a university and our leaders, let them get together, provide the resources, provide the infrastructure and the capacity needed to deliver. Look, that whole LU campus, if I have my will become an educational museum. It should not be an active school campus. The campus of the University of Liberia is not fit for learning. It should be reclassified into a museum. We should build a new foundation for what education. We should build education in our country that when any child sees it, they will understand the value of it. LU, the Executive Mansion, Capitol Building, these places should be museums. That's what serious countries do. Because these places are the symbols of what we used to be, for better or for worse. So they should be preserved as museums so that we can educate our children in how not to do certain things. LU should be a museum for our children to go and look at what it was and look at what it came to and understand what not to do when you are a leader. The executive mansion, where so many blood have been spilled, should be a museum to help our children understand how not to be involved in politics. The Capitol building of Liberia should be reclassified as a museum so our children can understand how not to take for granted the laws of our country, the nature of the laws of our country. Why are we operating these old dilapidated buildings that can make you depressed by being inside for 1 week, and then we're passing around boasting that that is the standard we should be setting? I beg to differ. And I'm happy to take anybody on this matter. You can call the numbers. The number have been posted again and pinned. For those of you who really want to participate, please call. We're here. This is our issue. That we are all Liberians, and then we take it to that's why the stupidity of the argument of dual citizenship kills anybody. Nobody needs dual. Look, let me tell you, there is something. The reason why the Constitution says your natural born citizenship is inalienable. That means it cannot be taken away. Huh? You choose to be born in Liberia. By nature, you were born in Liberia and became a citizen. And somebody tell you, say, for our brothers and sisters who came in the diaspora and took other passports, somebody tell them, say, because you took another country passport, so you can't be citizen in your own country anymore. That's such a backward attitude, the same attitude that got us into this war by treating citizenship as a tool of exclusion instead of it being a tool of inclusion. We are setting ourselves up again for another civil conflict. Because I'll tell you today that those of our brothers and sisters who took other citizenships, those citizenship are naturalized citizenship, they can be revoked. The only country that does not have the ability to revoke your citizenship is Liberia, because it's natural born. So just sit and play around with this stuff. People telling you, with my local AA, we can restrict it, and we want to make sure they can be president, they can be vice president. Are you crazy? What, you're afraid of the beg arrest politics that you introduced? That somebody will come who gets some US dollars too that can buy more beg arrest for other people? The Liberian dream must be inclusive of everybody. Those who never left Liberia, those who are poor should see a pathway through the Liberian dream to break out of the cycle of poverty. Those who are wealthy should see a pathway through the Liberian dream to make sure the impact and legacy of their wealth is for the betterment of the long term of our country. And those who left and became exposed to good and better and opportunities should see a pathway as to how they can leverage those opportunities for helping uplift our country overall. We should not be discussing citizenship based on exclusion. This is 2021. We went to 20 years of war because of our historical analysis of citizenship being a tool of excluding other people, when it is supposed to be the defining tool of how we inclusively gel together. Our ethnicities may be different. Our tribes may be different. Our dialects may be different. Our foods may be different. Our accents may be different. But the one thing that is not supposed to have classes should be our combined citizenship. It's supposed to be the one thing that unites us. I think we have a caller on the phone. Let's go to the phone.
Hello, caller. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, all right. So this is Ben. Thanks for
where are you calling from, Ben?
I am calling from Minnesota. How are you?
Welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Good. So, there are two things that I want you to help me understand. The first one is, if like we were to reduce the university to a technical college, what is the benefit?
The benefit will be we will be training people at this point who are able to provide the needs that Liberia actually needs, like plumbing, electricity, bricklayers, construction, agriculturists. That's what technical colleges do. They give you hands-on. So you wouldn't need the overqualification of academics in PhDs and masters to be able to practically become a productive person in Liberia, like outside of your pure academics.
So, okay, yeah, thanks for that. So are you saying that those things are not provided anyway in Liberia? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
As I'm speaking to you, I wouldn't speak generally to say it's not provided anywhere in Liberia. I'm saying the premier educational institution in our nation should be a symbol of what it can deliver, because I'm asking for LU to be reclassified, not reduced. Because when you say reduced, that means that technical education is not important. No, the reason I'm saying it because LU is incapable of delivering quality university level education. So I'm saying let's allow LU to be more effective, not because it's not happening in the country. I'm just saying let's make LU to be more effective and meaningful rather than deceptive to the people that go there.
Okay, I will come back to the issue of LU. Let's come to this issue that you just brought about, the issue about the citizenship. So are you saying Liberian who went to Ghana and became a Ghanaian citizen and became and then had a high power job in Ghana, left from Ghana, went back to Liberia? Are you saying that the Liberian people that he should be allowed to also run for the presidency of Liberia?
You should be able to run for any position in Liberia. I can name you multiple countries where that is the same because they want citizenship of inclusion.
What are some of those countries, please?
Azerbaijan is actually one. Israel is one. France is one. Even Canada that I live in is another one as well. And I can name you on and on. Somalia is also the president. Hold on, the president of Somalia is actually an American citizen as well.
So here's the reason why I asked. And the only African country you were able to have witnessed seems to be Somalia. And unfortunately, so Somalia is a failed state.
Is Liberia not a failed state?
Huh?
Is Liberia not a failed state in your opinion?
No, it is not.
So who funds up to 50-60% of your budget in some cases?
Say that again.
Who funds most of your budget in Liberia, your annual budget? Who funds it?
Some of it comes from especially for this government, it is Liberian all of the budget is being supported by the Liberian resources.
Who told you that all of the Liberian government budget is supported by the resources? Let me correct you.
Leo, I think a lot of us have been making a lot of mistakes when it comes to previous government than this one. This is the only government since the war that we have that is using the Liberian resources. All of the other governments have been we're almost about 80 to 90% helped by the international community.
Ben, that is not true.
Yeah.
Ben, let me correct you. I don't want us to put falsehood here. The Liberian government budget is not funded 100% by Liberian resources. That is not true.
No, I did not say 100%. That's not, I did not say. I said, and let me say it again. I said, since the war, this is the only government since the war that is using most of Liberian resources.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that stats from?
Just go to the budget and then
I am actually in the budget.
Go to the budget and see how the Liberian budget is being financed. The Liberian budget is being financed by Liberian resources. However, they have been getting some subsidies, and just like all, if not all African countries, also get subsidies. So we should make it very clear. This is the only government that is using most since the war. To be honest, so yes.
All right, that is not the argument, Ben. I don't want us to go off the argument altogether. What's your argument about a university be reclassified as a technical college, or Liberian citizenship be given to natural born, like not even given, not be restricted to natural born Liberians? What's your argument about that? Let's not drift off. That's a different argument.
So my argument here is that I do not think it would make any sense for a Liberian who has had who is a national to another country to go back to Liberia and then be in high positions like Chief Justice, like the president, the vice president. I think
so Ben, let me ask you quickly before I can take other callers here. What about the fact now the Liberian Constitution currently says if you're a Ghanaian, you go to Liberia, you naturalize, you can be Chief Justice, you can be member of the House of Reps, you can be anything in Liberia except president and vice president. What about that?
Okay, I did not get the first part of your.
I said if you're a Ghanaian or Nigerian or of African descent and you go to Liberia and naturalize as a Liberian citizen, you can hold any position in the entire country except president and vice president. What about that?
I find nothing wrong with that. All we need to do is to go back to our legislature and tell them to straighten things up.
Straighten what up? What do you mean straighten things up?
When I say straighten things up, they should go and say, look, if you are a Northern African, when you naturalize to be a Liberian, you cannot become the president, you cannot become vice president, or you cannot become the Chief Justice.
All right. All right, Ben, thank you. I think, Ben, your point has been well made. Thank you. So you are saying Liberians who took other citizenship should be restricted from key positions in Liberia. Thank you for your contribution, sir. Right. As much as I don't agree with you, we need to take other callers that are on the line here. Thank you so much, Ben.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have any other caller?
Yeah. Letitia?
Yes.
Letitia, go ahead. Thank you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New Jersey.
Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you.
Yes, I'm calling from New Jersey. It's always great hearing your conversations. Sometimes I think you bring too many ideas to the plate at once that cause us to all be full. Those are all good points. You always bring great ideas. The one that I have a problem with, I do agree with you on the citizenship. Why is it when the Constitution said we're born as Liberians, will always be Liberians, it's our inalienable right. Why are we making changes to that? Because of insecurity. And that's exactly what they are trying to do. Liberians are Liberians, and all we are doing, if we come back to our land, is to give back. So why is there insecurity? It's that the clause is Negro born. I think that's the major difference. So why is it that we always have to keep making adjustments to this, to the citizenship clause? So, I'm saying to you that I support your idea, but also to the point of, I'm sorry, 1 second.
That's okay.
To the point of LU being a technical school. Don't we already have Booker T. Washington? We already have technical college. So upgraded to a university. So let me ask you. These are colleges that should be pointed to the need of the country, rather than everybody be. It's good to be educated. It's good to have diverse careers, but the need is what we should be working on.
Yeah. So let me ask you a quick question here, Letitia. Let me ask you a very quick question.
People that can build, people that can electrify the city. I have seen professional mechanics, well, not mechanics, electricians go to Liberia and they complain because the system is off balance. They're using something that is not compatible with what we have.
So Letitia, can you hear me?
So always great. I applaud them. They're thought-provoking. I was just speaking to one of my daughters the other day with one of your arguments you made with teaching, when you say foreign language, whatever state or city you grow up in, you should learn a language. So
exactly.
Most people, when people ask me, I'm married to a bastard man, I'm grateful. Can I communicate with my husband in our dialect? No. But he knows his dialect, I know my dialect. We have a problem, and yes, until we come to the table and fix these little things and going big when we have little issues, it's a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Always talk booking, and I am here listening.
Thank you so much for your insightful contributions. Letitia, do we have another caller?
Rudolph.
Rudolph, go ahead, please. Where are you calling from?
Rudolph, go ahead. You're live.
Rudolph, can you hear us? Go ahead, please, if you're there. Tell us where you're calling from. All right, looks like we might be having some. If we get Rudolph Bada or anyone else, let me know. We can kind of go from there. Do we have another caller?
No.
All right. So, folks, let me just address some of the questions that's coming through the comments, but let me address.
Yeah, another caller here. What's going on?
Oh, we have another caller. Please go ahead. Tell us your name, where you're calling from,
Yeah,
please.
this is Ali. How are you?
I'm doing very well, sir. Tell us where you're calling from.
Coming from somewhere in the United States. You have a very good program going on today, and I'd like to talk about, first of all, the LU being a technical college. I think the idea behind what you're saying has a lot of rationale, but the possibility of changing the University of Liberia into a technical college, that's never going to happen. So, but I think there's a way to put a spin around this. I think what you're discussing is what I refer to as education. A lot of the time we believe that when we come overseas and we acquire college degrees, masters, and PhDs, that means we're really educated, even though our education doesn't make any impact on the people, the local people. But when you come up with such an idea, that's a very brilliant idea. It's always important for us to know what specifically works for our people, for our state, for our society. What do we need? You understand what I'm saying? And that's the kind of idea that you're coming up with. Like, people need hands-on things. They need a lot of hands-on things. The point is, will they have jobs after they graduate? As we speak, there are a lot of bricklayers, a lot of electricians, and stuff like that. But there are also no jobs for them. Understand? So, as you do that, you should also include a package of how to create the job as well. I mean, creating the human capacity or developing the human capacity, that is brilliant to prepare them for future development.
All right.
So as you do that, I recommend that you find a way as well to create jobs. They're going to need jobs upon graduation from those programs.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I want to touch on the citizenship stuff.
All right, can you take 1 minute? Try to do it in a minute or so. Thank you.
Yeah, 1 minute, that's a long time.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So my brother Benjamin, let you confuse himself. So in Liberia, I don't know, sometimes when we talk about this citizenship thing too much, if we give the guys on the other side who wants to limit the Liberian people ability to serve their people, we give them upper hand. Honestly speaking with you, the Constitution itself in no way denies any born Liberian citizenship. It is a little issue about this nationality law that has some level of ambiguity.
It's not even in the Constitution. It's a statute.
Yeah. Yeah. So Liberians have always been a dual citizenship country, and the citizen-led government will not change that, no matter how they do it. This is a logical question you ask, and I always ask that question. If our own brothers and sisters cross the border from Guinea and come to Liberia and get certified, and they get some sort of certificate in Bonjama as citizens of Liberia, they can become citizens for local country. But I was born in Fayette, Magibi County, born and raised. I cannot become a senator of Magibi County because I got passport from somewhere else. That does not make any sense, and I don't understand why in Georgia we ever even sign something like that in the law.
Thank you.
But I want to thank you so much for having me so far.
Thank you so much for your contribution as well. Do we have any other caller on the line?
No, but we have a lot of comments.
Yeah, so maybe we can go through the comments to kind of wrap up on that, Mr. John. So Daniel Wilson said, "I'm so proud of you, my brother. If we have 2 or more people like you, our country would be a great place." Thank you, Daniel. We'll just run through some of the comments quickly. We are almost out of time here, out of time right now, so we can Robertson Boylan said, that is why I'm a little skeptical about another legislation Senator Dillon is talking about drafting, because the problem of citizenship needs to be understood and corrected before jumping into it, which might, in my mind, create more harms than good. Let discussion like this one continue so that everyone, if not all, can understand that your natural-born citizenship right can't be taken away, or else it would die like that of Senator Vannie G. Sherman in the national referendum. Thank you, Robertson, one of my own cool fellows there. Thank you, Robertson. Willie DeLon say, you previously stated our national solutions should come from a domestic source, yet you point to other countries that allow people that have dual citizenship to ascend to leadership as a Yasek. I think that is a contradiction. No, it is not, Willie. I'm not saying we should copy their systems. I'm just saying that in context of responding to the question that Liberia will not be unique in thinking through a solution in that particular manner. So no, I'm not saying we should go copy another country. We should understand our problems and deal with the dynamics. Eugene Mesa say, have Liberians really been giving back to Liberia instead of taking away other resources to the already developed world? Eugene, yes. In fact, at one point, Liberians were sending more money back to Liberia more than your country's annual budget, more than Liberia's annual budget at one point. So yes, and I believe part of the reason why more Liberians haven't been giving back is there's a lot of people who are skeptical. Now that people are using citizenship to go after them, so let's fix it. Francis Beale says, it is so funny they are restricting Liberians that took citizenship outside but want us to help develop. That's true. The government of Liberia set up the diaspora DEX to engage the Liberian diaspora. So who is a Liberian in the diaspora to go back with their money and invest when you say they should be restricted? Letty Brooks said colonial ideas that don't fit our society. We need to train people on these bases. Here we have more educated people and less technocrats. Thank you, Letty. Choko Moore, what's lacking at LU is the resources, good faculties, administration, etc. I agree. So when will we get it and who will provide the money? If you can't, then reclassify it to the level that it's operating at. Eugene Misan say, I think there's a great need to have a big technical college, but it is not a good idea for us to do LU. So we should keep UL to keep giving substandard education. That's a question I will leave you with to go and think about. Musu Senovia say, how can we get a copy of the Constitution? We need it so people can know their rights. How do we have access? It's online, Musu. If you just Google Liberia, there you go. One of our producers just put it up there for you. Just Google, go to Focus on Liberia actually, and contact Focus on Liberia. But it's on Kindle. You can actually buy a copy for yourself for $3.99, an audio copy and a paperback for $11.99. So you can order one. That makes it simple there. So I think, Mr. Ja, we will try and wrap up here because I know we are out of time. I just want to inform everybody that my assertion and suggestion of reducing, or not reducing, that's a wrong term, reclassifying LU to a technical college is not to say that it's not important. No, it is. In fact, LU is so important. That's the reason I'm asking that it should be reclassified, because we need our educational institutions to be capable of delivering quality education. And I believe if we reclassify LU to a technical college, we will be more empowered to deliver quality education with experts who may not have a PhD, but have mastery in certain areas that the country needs so desperately. I don't think Liberia has the ability currently to take advantage and leverage top-level university education, which is mostly based on research. University education is mostly theory and research, which is an important part of any society. But Liberia does not have the capability right now to facilitate research or take advantage of the outcomes of research. Ebola time research was done, it had to be brought out of Liberia. Every time we have research done in Liberia, people need to bring it to the West. Our Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the actual recommendations, the copies are not in Liberia. They are at Georgia Tech University. The agreement has expired. It's sitting there with the people don't know what to do with it. We don't have a way of bringing it back to host it in Liberia. So how can we be running a university that should be focused on quality research? Instead, let's go to a technical college that's teaching our people the practical solutions and innovations to solving our problem. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Leo Nupolu Johnson, and the Liberian Dream is the dream that every Liberian, including those in the diaspora, including those in Joploken, including those in Ganta, those in Banga, those in Maryland, those in Plebo, those in Banga, those in Kakata, and those in Monrovia can all see a pathway through which they can make Liberia a better place without trying to be something else than themselves. Liberians, let's fall in love with ourselves and let's stop chasing everybody else's dream. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, and I will see you back here in 2 weeks. Have a...
We are Liberian. Liberia is our home. Liberian people.